sustainable democracy in Nigeria. At that forum, the critical stakeholders were challenged. The public relations practitioners, the media, the people, and all other stakeholders. They were challenged that they were not doing enough. And Femi Dokumu was there, and was the chairman organizing the committee for the NIPR in Ogun State. So, please, with the challenge that was posed to the stakeholders, what do you have as report to our people so that we can recreate our social harmony strategy?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, you know, the challenges were thrown to different sets of people identified, you know, from that colloquium as critical stakeholders in ensuring that we have social harmony and national integration. The colloquium came up with the fact that the professionals, like the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations and those who manage feedback and information and communication, so to say, for government, should be able to be objective and ensure that they gather opinion, diverse public opinion. Don't forget that public opinion usually is not harmonious. People have different opinion based on their background, their biases, social status, and frames of minds. These are factors that will determine public opinion. So sometimes there are divergent opinion in the public market. It is now left for professionals to gather all these diverse opinion and then be able to sieve them and then advise government and the other stakeholders as appropriate.
Even organizations?
Even organizations, government organizations. Don't forget that there are public relations officers or managers who work for private organizations. So wherever we find ourselves, and this is not limited, you know, to public relations professionals alone. It was taken to the doors of media managers, you know, those journalists and so on and so forth. But of course, that colloquium also identified the fact that now that we have the social media, which is more or less not monitored or controlled, virtually everybody now posts opinion, you know, on their various, through their various telephones and all that, you know, handsets and the rest. And sometimes these are negative, these are rumors, these are not based on scrutinized opinion of people. And once you have it thrown into the public space, people begin to read it and they say, and they can continue to share. So they suggested that there might be the need to begin to look at how to moderate or to control the rate at which people just post things which are not factual, which are not truth, and so on and so forth. You know, professionals have code of ethics, so they wouldn't want themselves to be penalized. They will still be able to operate, you know, carefully. Again, that colloquium identified government itself, you know, and the various agencies of government like National Orientation Agency and so on and so forth, that there is the need for government to realize that public opinion matters in taking decisions, in coming up with policies and programs, and that they should factor that into every stage of their decision-making process. Due diligence must be conducted, due process must be taken care of, so that at the end of the day, the public opinion of the people will form the bedrock. But I am also aware from from that colloquium, it was identified that some people sometimes will come up with opinion which are deliberately to work against government, to tell lies about government. And in such situation, it is now the responsibility of those who are spokesmen of government not to stay away. Government should not be far from the people. There is always gap, that communication gap, that we allow rumors to mill. So government should not just go and sit back. At every point in time, you should not assume that the people will know. No, you should go ahead with public enlightenment and find out. You can even carry out research to know, to find out how much do the people know. And if you think they are not known enough, then you must find a way to get to them to ensure that information is always available to the people.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was a great one. Mr. Barino,
I'm with you.
We know that public opinion will always be diverse. And we know that issues of citizens, maybe due to deprivations, due to lack of or inefficiency on the part of maybe government parastatal organization, will always generate crisis. And that comes to the issue of conflict resolution. Let's look at the issue of protest that came up by the national unions, the Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC against government. Are they justified? And if not, why?
First and foremost, I want to commend the last speaker. He spoke very well, and let me just say little to continue with that one, just to tell you that government is not only listening, but is also willing to partner with every organization that means well for the nation. National integration for us is a good area. It's something that government believes, and we at NOAA is always willing to do more in that regards. We are engaging people. People are talking, and we are listening, and we are collating information to them. And we are still saying that our doors is still open for people to express themselves. We are practicing democracy. We must recognize the fact that public opinions, public pressure groups, and diverse interests is welcome. There is even what we call information law now, Information Act 2011. So it gives you opportunity to ask information and to seek information from any organizations and individuals.
Information bill?
Yes, so no longer bill, it's an act now.
No. Okay.
So now coming to your question, sir. We are in democracy. And one of the advantages of democracy is that it gives room for you to express yourself, to also register your displeasure or your grievances.
To create forum for dialogue.
Create forum for dialogue. And one of the ways is protest. Of course, it must not be violent. It is the violence that government does not want. Because when you react violently, you destroy even the little things that government has provided for us. Some buses will have been useful now. You will have felt much pain, if not for the inside that some people abuse by destroying, by burning public infrastructure, burning public buses, and it's affecting us now. So government does not want violence, but you can register your displeasure, your disagreement, just as we are doing at home. Whether at home, in church, or in public places, wherever there is violence, things are meant to be destroyed. You can even lose lives, and this is why government is saying no. So as far as the protest that we did sometimes ago, government welcome it, because government is saying you can participate in government. And so there is no need for us to think that government does not welcome. At the end of the day, if you notice it, you will discover that government even engaged the labor leaders, and government has made some commitment to them to ensure that what they are saying, government look into it. It might not be that everything they ask will be done every day, but you can be sure that government will look at it and will be doing it step by step. And the one they cannot do, say, can we do this way? And in that platform of dialogue, things move.
I wanted to ask you, if we were to assess, what would be your assessment of the way government approach that matter? Can you give them a pass?
Yes, I will give them a pass. Why? Because they allow the protest. Government did not make arrest, and the NUC, the labor people, did not destroy our properties. Give them the pass. Because at the end of the day,
I think I want to also align myself with him. I give the president a pass.
Yes. So the picture that they are saying,
Mr. Moderator, you shouldn't have even thrown that question to him. He's the director of the National Orientation Agency.
He's a Nigerian citizen.
No. There is a limit. For us, who are non-governmental organizations, we are the ones that could have assessed what the president did. You know, the way the protest came on, it was supposed to last for several days, or you can even go to weeks. But you can see the master stroke, the strategy that the president applied to now say, okay, the leadership of NLC and the TUC and all that labor union, please come.
Yes, address vision, my brother.
Yes.
Yes, address vision.
Even that was before they stopped the protest. Yes. But even when the protest started yesterday, you know, that same yesterday, the president discussed with them. He must have negotiated. He must have shifted. He must have found a way to convince the labor leaders.
He did.
To now say, okay, look, I'm giving you my words.
Yes.
You can trust government. You can trust my government. You can trust me. And I think the current government inherited that problem or that issue of people not having trust in government.
And
so people transferred that same aggression of not believing government to the present administration. But thank God, the President Tinubu, has succeeded in showing that he could have a way to talk with the labor leaders and build trust in them to the level that they decided that, look, I think with the way the President has spoken, they believe him and they believe that he would carry out those programs.
So you give the president.
I'll give him a
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I want to go into another area. Let me still be with you, Femi.
Yes.
Has the president been fair on the distribution of the ministerial nominees in the country?
Is it fair?
Yes.
Has it been fair?
Yes, I think he has been fair to all concerned, because I don't think there is any of the 6 geopolitical zones that does not have its own fair share of distribution of the ministerial nominees or the ministers.
Including across gender.
Yes, and there was a gender balance in that too. At least more than 35% of the nominees.
Really? More than 35%?
Yes, percent of the nominees are women. And then those who have also been serving in the government. So to that extent, I think the government has been fair. You cannot be talking of equity sometimes because it has to be. If, for instance, you have 10 people in a place, you have 30-something people, you have different number like that, and you now say, give everybody equity. At that point in time, you are not being fair to those who have large number of people. So in this case now, I want to agree that the president has been fair, and any geopolitical zone that feels not being properly taken care of, that they have not been fair to, can bring it up. Don't forget that we are talking about public opinion, raising your voice, and then protesting, and then the government will listen. That is.
And in addition, it's not just ministers' portfolio that you can serve the nation. You can serve as a special advisor,
yes.
You can serve as a chairman of board, and all that nominees. There are so many opportunities. So everybody will feel that they feel, we still want more, you can still approach the presidency. And all of these things is actually happening from the root. The person will be nominated from the root. That's where social money and service matters. People who have something to offer must be recognized by their state government, by the state governor. Must be recognized by their community leaders. That's where the feedback, that's where something comes from. When they pick you from the root, it gets to the president.
Well, I don't want to have any axe to grind on that, but that cannot be the true perspective or perception.
Please, what you are doing here, what are you doing here? You are noticing it in the state. When it is time to nominate somebody who has experience in PR, you will see that you get to the top.
Well, thank you so much. I want to, still on that issue, can we also do an assessment of the calibers of the nominees, talking about their professions, talking about their involvement in some areas that need social empowerment, improvement, infrastructural development, and nation building. What's your take?
Is it the ministers?
Yeah, ministerial nominees.
As far as I'm concerned, that job has been given to the National Assembly. And once they have screened them and they have approved them, I mean, it's best. We leave it at that level. But what we can also, we should be concerned with is that everybody that's serving and is coming upon to serve the Nigeria should put in his or her best. And as long as they do that, Nigerians will become better. We all hands should be on deck. Even we that are not ministers, wherever we find ourselves, at community level, at Nigeria level, let's put in our best. Nigeria needs us now.
My reaction to that quickly.
No, before you even come up with the reaction.
Yes.
When you look at past nominations, the caliber of men that were put forward, and the caliber of men that are currently being put forward now, what's your own assessment?
Well, I haven't seen anything that you now said a standard has not been met. The standard, the usual standard too, is that you have people who have served as governors, people who have served as senators or members of the House of Representatives, people who have served as commissioners at state level, those who have served at within some international organizations are brought together to be nominated as a minister. So to me,
we also pick technocrats.
Oh, well,
of well experience in their field of influence. Like when we need information now, or somebody who's in PR, they can pick you.
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying.
Your merits.
That's what I'm saying, that people who have made their marks in their different areas, professionally and all that, so there hasn't been any shortfall or fall in the standard at all. If I'm to speak, for instance, one of the nominees from Ogun State was a former commissioner for health, former commissioner for housing, and
the other technocrats,
and others too in their various fields. And you discover that the public opinion that we are talking about here now, the public opinion that has gone out now, is to the effect that people are happy that with the set of people they have picked to represent the state. I have not seen any public opinion that says this fellow is not competent or will not be competent. There might be other factors that may be considered, but for now, in terms of competence, I think we have people.
That's a school of thought that has the opinion that the ministerial nominees should have their portfolios attached. But I see that you could see some of the past ministers say that they never got to know anything about the portfolio that they were made to handle. Should we continue in that level?
Well, for that, there are two issues that we have raised. One is whether the president should submit the names of the nominees along with their portfolios. Yeah. And I think the government gave a reason why that will not be expedient. It is said that, look, okay, if you now say, okay, look, take this fellow is the minister or in waiting, or nominee for Ministry of Health, and he fails to scale the nomination or the National Assembly screening and all that. What that will now mean is that you now begin to look at the others. So you take somebody again who has been penciled down for water resources or whatever, and you now begin to, and that will not be tidy at all. So to that extent, the president has submitted the names. Let us wait to now see who and who will be given what portfolio. It is at that stage that we can now say whether they are round pegs in round holes or not. But for now, I think we should just be satisfied with the fact that those people selected are good in their own rights and that they are professionals or technocrats or what have you.
And in addition to what he's saying, at that top level is managerial. It's managerial. Your experience, your wisdom, the ability to manage human resources as well as other resources to bring out the best. Don't forget, every minister has peers, has career staff, that are going to work along with them. So they are going to be doing things together. They're going to be brainstorming together. What you just need to do is managerial of human resources in each ministry or department or agency so deployed. So it's not just technical knowledge. And when there is technical knowledge needed, he can always tap into resources that are available under him or her.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I want us to look at the issues of fuel scarcity. I know it's abated now, but the issue of local refineries. Are people not justified, particularly the unions that were hinging on the resuscitation of our refineries? Is it not high time we do something about our refineries? Nigeria is the only nation that's an oil producer and is not refining its own products.
Well, I think I want to say that we thank God that we do not really have scarcity of the fuel supply for now. Maybe what we can say is that there might be scarcity of the ones produced or refined within Nigeria, and as such we were compelled, or we are still compelled, to be importing. And we are now subjected to the vagaries of prices and all that in the international community. But really, if you now say labor, we cannot say labor is right by saying that we should go back to the old price and all that and all that. At this stage now, that is not the best way to go.
We are talking about refineries.
Yes, and in terms of refineries, Mr. President came up to say, look, in the next couple of months, or by December, he will ensure that the refineries work. That's the way to go. You see, when you are fixing issues, there are some quick fixes, things that you can fix quickly in the immediate term. And there are some which you can fix only in the medium term, and there are those you can only fix in the long term. The first thing is, let us even stop this our money or the subsidy, so-called subsidy, from flying into some people's pockets and what have you. Then necessity, which is the mother of invention, will now compel all of us to find a solution to the decision that we have taken. Both are now going pari passu. We have government Nigerians, palliatives and all that coming. We just plead with the people to exercise some patience. Tita Riro Lankola, Toba Jinoto Adoge.
Well, the director, we do not want to be looking at issues from the government angle alone. What advice do you have for citizens?
Well,
in terms of creating a conducive social harmony and national integration.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say that Nigerians have been wonderful. We want to plead with you again to please exercise patience with the government as they begin to solve the problem one after the other. We want to plead with you as individuals, organizations, NGOs, companies, whatever you are doing, to please believe in Nigeria, believe in the government of Nigeria, and please live together in peace with your neighbor. And finally, please, we don't want people that are going about selling fake drugs. We don't want people to affect their health. Please, let those who are doing such things stop selling fake drugs to our people, especially in Ogun State.
Your final charge to the PR practitioners.
Well, PR practitioners continue to obey the ethics of the profession. We should continue to build understanding and goodwill. And we must not just be professionals alone. We must live public relations ourselves. We must make it a culture, and people can see public relations radiating from us.
Government must be open to ideas, to opinion, and that is when pluralism and opinions can be managed. That is when our interests can be taken care of. It's been a wonderful time with Femi Dokumu.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to always be here.
A veteran PR practitioner.
Thank you very much.
And the State Director of National Orientation Agency.
Thank you for inviting us.
We thank you for your support.
It's my pleasure.
Viewers, we're grateful. You are always there. Until next week, when we come up with another topic, I'm Akin Kudero, your uncle. Stay blessed.
recommend an all-expense paid trip to